And a big good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to RTA Virtual Motorsports here on Gantry TV. It is the RTA Super Formula Light Series, and it is the season finale. Yes, we have had 7 previous and fantastic rounds, and we head here to Long Beach, California for round number 8. My name is Evan Dalton. It's a pleasure to be with you once again. The usual trio is back down to a duo, unfortunately, for this evening. Kieran McGinley not able to attend this evening. We hope Kieran is doing well wherever he may be watching from. But the fabulous Ronan Hederman will be jumping in throughout the evening to give his thoughts on the incidents and shenanigans that may be in store here at Long Beach. Downtown Long Beach, California is where this circuit is located. It's a 3.167 kilometer circuit, 1.968 miles and 11 corners, but 11 that are bound to provide some incidents, some crashes, and some chaos potentially. It is a championship deciding evening, of course, folks. As you will remember from last week, Jordan Kelly comes into it as the favourite, leading the Super Formula Lights championship. But remember, we do have drop rounds and stuff to take into account. So the way the champion will be announced will be after all the races have concluded, because we do need to take into account drop rounds, and we do need to get an official verdict from the higher ups here at RTA Virtual Motorsport. But as it stands now, Jordan Kelly is top of the standings, ahead of Ronan Doherty in second place. Then it's Rory O'Shea in third. He had a poor week last week, so he lost some big points on the top two. Dylan McClemens then in fourth, with Sean McGoldrick in fifth. And realistically, any of those 5 could still win. But obviously, if it's Dylan McClemens and Sean McGoldrick, it probably does take a miracle. And you can see there, that is the standings, including the drop round. So the gap actually does decrease a little bit, because Jordan's worst round, excluding penalties, he racked up 58 points. Ronan Doherty's worst round, excluding penalties, was 52 points. Ronan actually didn't help himself. His worst round overall is 26 points, but he picked up a penalty within that. So that is why he, I suppose, doesn't get his best drop round, because of the penalties. But obviously, if you get a penalty, you can't use that as your drop round. It's to basically encourage drivers to just not crash into each other once they realise they're having a bad round. But it is Jordan Kelly, Ronan Doherty, then Rory O'Shea, and Dylan McClemens. Dylan has the worst drop round of the lot with 29 points in round number 2. Rory O'Shea then just one above that in 30. So everybody does gain on Jordan Kelly with the drop round. And the way it works tonight is, obviously, if any of those 4 drivers score less points than they do, or less points this evening than they have in their drop round, then tonight will become their drop round. And they could well do that, because Long Beach is a circuit that, well, it's known for a crash or two, maybe, in iRacing. It's not one you traditionally see in iRacing Championship. Started in 1975, of course, did the circuit by Chris Pook, who was a motorsport enthusiast turned travel agent. It's not your historically accurate, I suppose, creation of racing circuits to be done by a travel agent, but that is how this one was done, of course. It is a circuit that is quite bumpy, quite chaotic, and I suppose an intriguing choice for a championship finale, and we will see that throughout the evening. You can see practice so far does have the traditional front runners near the top in the form of Jordan Kelly and Dylan McClemens and Ronan Doherty and Rory O'Shea, but the reverse grid race, as myself and Ronan were talking about before the stream started, is bound to be interesting, because there is not many overtaking opportunities here, like we saw maybe last week in Hockenheim, or we seen maybe in Alton Park or the Nürburgring. It is a little bit different. This section, of course, as I was reminded by Ronan, hosts Formula Drift behind this. No, it doesn't host it behind the scenes. It hosts it before it hosts its single-seater racing. Ronan, Formula Drift here, is it as chaotic as the tonight's races might be?
Absolutely. Like we've seen this year already. James Dean caught fire. They're running the walls here, and I think was it Sean McClemens said earlier on. Or no, it was Jordan actually on Facebook said that basically the walls here are your exes. So it's going to be really interesting this evening.
Yeah, I thought drifting was a nice way to get you into the stream, Ronan. Something you know well. But Ronan will be jumping in throughout the evening to give you a little bit of a different voice, I suppose. Um, yes, we get a lovely view of the turn 6 complex that's there to the left-hander, and there is the pit lane. And I believe, because we're looking at a load of cars in the pit lane, that means qualifying has started, and it absolutely has. Qualifying, very, very important here in Long Beach, but qualifying has been dominated by one man so far this season, and you don't really have to think too hard to figure out who it is. That is, of course, Jordan Kelly, who has taken every single pole position so far this season. We've had 7 rounds. He's started on pole position 7 times. He's only not won the first heat twice, and he lost both of them to championship rival Ronan on the European circuits of Imola and Hockenheim. So in our other Americas round at Virginia International Raceway, Jordan Kelly did take the first heat win. But it's a big evening for him because all eyes are probably on him. He's looking to go back-to-back champion here in RTA Virtual Motorsport. He, of course, won the GT4 Cup. He has been a double champion in the Vs before, but he didn't go back-to-back doing so. He won it in Season 1 and Season 3. Why? Well, because we didn't do Vs in Season 2. But that's besides the point. He is looking to go back-to-back and be one of the first men to go back-to-back, really. But he has a lot of work to do here this evening to keep himself out of the walls and to get back to that consistency that he is so badly used to. Speaking of Jordan Kelly, I think it's about time we go on board with him as per usual. A big thanks to Jordan for providing all these hot laps every week, bar last week, because he didn't actually do any practice, so we couldn't get his lap. But you can see him entering turn number 1. We'll head back to the live feed after we run you through a fabulous lap here with Jordan Kelly. So down towards turn number 1 onto Aquarium Way. You want to get as close to the right hand side as you can. The pit exit is there on the right hand side. That's why drivers don't go the full way over it. Then you're in towards the Bronze Dolphin Fountain hairpin. Second gear through here, and you've got to avoid the fountain and the wall to the left hand side. IndyCar driver Simon Pagenaud ended up on the fountain a couple of years ago. That's one of the bumpier corners on the track. It is an off-camber right-hander up towards another very similar one, but a left-hander on this occasion. You've got to get as close to that inside wall as possible. There is space on the exit on this one, unlike this right-hander at turn number 8. You've got to make sure your entrance is perfect because you have no room for error on exit. 2x2 through there does not work. The driver's going to have to be careful of that this evening. Then it's the second longest straight on the circuit in towards the right-hander of turn number 9. We were talking about Formula Drift earlier. That's where their circuit starts here. And then it's a double left-hander. You can see Jordan just fighting the car through here in towards the slowest corner on the circuit. A pretty much 180-degree right-hand hairpin. You have to hook the car in through there. Maybe a bit of one hand on the wheel action to turn it over. And then bolt down towards the start-finish line. You'll notice something about that lap, folks. It was extremely quick. And it was very tight. There's not a lot of overtaking opportunities around here. So a fabulous lap by Jordan once again shows us how crucial this qualifying is. And he's currently quickest in it, ahead of Sean McGoldrick and Conor Melia in 2nd and 3rd. Rory O'Shea currently in 4th, with Peter McCann in 5th. Peter picking up a driver of the day this season. He's had a fairly steady season, picking up a podium as well. We'll hear from Peter after the stream tonight. Sorry, not after the stream, after the races. We'll hear him on the stream to review what's gone on in the season so far. So, Peter, as I'm sure we'll have some intriguing topics to discuss, so you'll want to stick around for that, folks. Make sure you get your thoughts in on the season so far and on tonight's action in the stream chats as well. We'll be more than happy to discuss what opinions you have coming into next season, what opinions you have here tonight. We're looking at McCann then, heading in towards the right-hander, but it's Jordan Kelly lighting up the timing screens as per usual. He's gone purple in the 1st and 2nd sectors, or 1st and 3rd sectors, I should say, and he will extend his time to a 1:14.1 for Jordan Kelly. Conor Melia then jumps up to 2nd place, just pipping Sean McGoldrick, but there's still plenty of time to go in qualifying for these drivers to improve. You can see Dylan McClemens going quick on his hot lap as well. He's just crossed the line now, and he will jump up onto the front row of the grid. It's 2nd place for young Dylan McClemens, who I think will be very happy with how his season's gone. He has digressed in terms of championship position from last season. He was 2nd in the A Championship last season with 442 points, which is significantly more than what he'll be getting this season. But I think the caliber of driver this season has been much higher, and Dylan hasn't really digressed in terms of pace. As we say that, he clobbers into the exit wall, heading through turn number 5 onto West Shoreline Drive, and I don't think he'll be too happy with how qualifying is going so far, despite him being on the front row of the grid. Here's Sean McGoldrick then, we're on board with him. Just take a look how close they get to the walls here and towards this sector. You can see even when he's going slow, just about hook it in and try extend it as much as you can on the exit. I think some drivers will be going even closer to the wall on that exit. I don't think Sean was really pushing too much, just wanted to get a steady run down towards the first corner, on towards Aquarium Way. The fountain that you see to the left-hand side, it's a fairly unique sort of thing to see on a racing track, is a bronze fountain, but that is the Dolphin fountain coming up here. You can just see on the right-hand side. That was added to the traffic circle, or as every other country calls a roundabout, in 1988. It's a whopping 10 feet tall, a magnificent structure, and the drivers will be driving past that, hoping not to damage it here for every lap this evening. Rory O'Shea, currently in 5th position. Rory has been king of the second place, I think. He's got second place on a numerous amount of occasions this season, but only the one win. And when you compare that to Jordan Kelly and his wins, it looks pretty much nothing. If you want to challenge for a championship, you not only have to be consistent, as Kieran McGinley would say, but you do also have to win races. Rory slightly lacked that this season, so he'd like to finish on a positive note. Heading down towards the first corner then in qualifying, he is just finishing a push lap, as you can see. A lot of green sectors on the timings below the racing surface. There's a jump up there for Jamal Gandor into 13th position. Jamal is another man who's had an up and down season. He's caused absolute carnage as per usual, but Jamal a fan favourite. And Jamal, if you're wondering what he's probably doing right now, he's probably listening to AC/DC or something. Oh, Bonnie Tyler, I'm hearing from Ronan. I'm not sure if you heard that there in the stream, folks, but Bonnie Tyler is who he listens to. There was actually a clip in our awards show post-race last season of Jamal. I'm not even sure if it was an RTA race, but it was simply him hot lapping while listening to Bonnie Tyler. He's one of our 2 resident streamers here in RTA, but I think Ronan will agree he's probably a little bit more hectic than Lawrence de Soswell is.
Absolutely. Like Jamal's energy during streams is next level, and I remember I was talking to some of the guys before the stream before I think it was last week, and I was saying, oh, but sure, Jamal doesn't hear that music in the background. No, he does. He blasts
Oh
out
yeah,
music
yeah, he does.
and takes requests. So if you ever do get a chance to jump onto TikTok and watch Jamal's stream, it's a joy.
You can also follow the Sim Consultants and Evan Dalton as well. Make sure you do that on TikTok. Absolutely. You can do that on a lot of social platforms. Just go searching on one, you'll probably find it. But yeah, Jamal Kandor, an interesting individual nonetheless. He's currently 13th in qualifying, just behind Kamto Chuka. One of our newer drivers this season as well is Kamto. But I tell you what, he's been a fabulous addition. Currently sits 9th in the standings. He's not picked up any penalty points, so the stewards will be very happy with him. And we've got to see a lot of entertainment from him this season. He picked up the podium as well, I believe, in Hockenheim, the Nürburgring, just stealing it off Conor Melia, as Ronan Doherty introduces himself and jumps to 5th place. Peter McCann, a little bit of an American track merchant, I think we're seeing. He was flying in Virginia International Raceway. He said it's one of his favourite tracks. He's flying in qualifying here as well. 4th place for Peter so far, and he is beating Ronan Doherty, who's fighting for the championship. So Ronan might need to put in a bit of a quicker lap, maybe get in front of his 2 cousins, the McClements brothers, of Dylan and Sean, who are currently 2nd and 3rd. A little bit down the order then is Sean McGoldrick. He'd usually appear at the top, currently in 8th position, but lapping nicely, so we do hope to see him jump up the order. Big talk about the A Championship, of course. We've got a fabulous B Championship undergoing as well. Philip Upson and Kevin Joyce are fighting for it, and it's currently Philip Upson who leads, but only leads because Kevin Joyce has picked up a lot of penalties this season. Kevin has would actually be leading the championship unless if he didn't pick up any penalties, but he's picked up a lot of penalties, so that allows Philip Upson to take a nice healthy lead heading into the season finale. Sean McGoldrick then jumps to 2nd place. In all honesty, when I said he was hot lapping quickly, I kind of just said that without looking, but he is hot lapping quickly. It's 3rd place for Sean McGoldrick so far. Ronan Doherty just about beats him and goes to 2nd, so it is Kelly and Doherty, the 2 championship protagonists, who are on the front row of the grid for the time being. These Super Formula Lights cars will kind of be suited to this circuit. I say kind of because on paper it looks like they are suited to this kind of circuit, but these are public roads here in Southern California. So is any car really suited to them? Unless it's, of course, your everyday road car. But I don't think we're driving a Prius or a Honda Accord or something here today. We're driving a 275 brake horsepower single seater. That was Lawrence Sosby, you could see, just struggling a little bit in that final sector. Still getting over that wrist injury, of course. And if any of you have played sport, you'll know those injuries kind of niggle for a little bit, but they do eventually get better. It got better pretty quickly for Lawrence, who had one of his best weeks after that injury in Brands Hatch, where he managed to take a second place. He would have got a podium anyways, but Jordan Kelly did have to serve a drive-through penalty, so he jumped up in front of him, and it was Lawrence and Peter who finally got to share the podium after many of their battles across the last couple of seasons. 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go in qualifying, I should say. It's currently the championship leader, Jordan Kelly, who is top of the order, ahead of Ronan Doherty in second place. Then it is Dylan McClements in third, ahead of Sean McGoldrick in fourth. Sean McClements is in fifth, ahead of Peter McCann in sixth. Here is Conor Melia, who you are looking at. He currently places in seventh, ahead of Rory O'Shea in eighth, Alexander Milchin in ninth, and Brian McManus in 10th. It was a good week from Brian last week in Hockenheim. He picked up third place. It was a well-earned podium, and he was thankful to overcome the misfortune he received in Brands Hatch. By misfortune, we mean the mother of all netcode is the only way I can describe it. It's one of the worst netcode incidents I've ever seen, where he wasn't near any car, but got hit off the road, and poor Brian wasn't able to pick up a good result that day, so he made amends, and he made amends nicely. Conor Melia just improving upon his time, I think, but no positional change for him. It's still Kelly and Doherty who are 1 and 2, but the time is very close between Ronan Doherty and Rory O'Shea. They have both set 1:14.2s. Jordan Kelly, on the other hand, 1:13.6. It's looking like the king of qualifying is going to take a clean sweep of pole positions for the entire season, and he's probably wishing it was like FIA Formula 2 rules, where you get points for pole position, because that would probably all but wrap him up the championship. But we've seen how quick he is across one lap pace around Long Beach. It does matter, but it also doesn't matter, because you've got to keep your car out of the walls if you want to get a good result. Jordan has probably kept out of walls for the most part, but we have seen maybe some inconsistencies at tracks such as the Nürburgring, and then of course he's been involved in incidents just like the rest of the drivers have this season. It seems like it's going to be one more lap for Jordan Kelly to try and, I suppose, extend a gap that doesn't really need to be extended. No one is touching that 1:13.6 from Jordan Kelly. That's a very quick lap, when the lap record around here is a 1:05, and that's in an Indy car, which has significant more straight line speed, significant more cornering ability, and is just overall quicker than what we're in here this evening, as that's a car gone over in qualifying, and dare I say that is Jordan Kelly, who has just barrel rolled into the wall at turn number 2 because someone was coming out of the pit lane in lap traffic. Not the best end to qualifying for him this season, but he will still take pole position from it, and you can see him there just sat in pit road. Ronan, we usually see cars going over, but I think that's the first time this season we've seen it in qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. But let's be honest, we're literally sitting here preempting the turn one fiasco, let's say. You know, it was bound to happen at some stage, but for it to happen in qualifying, I don't think we've actually even had that much drama in qualifying, if I'm right in saying, in terms of actual crashes or even wheel-to-wheel incidents.
No, we haven't. We have a bit of an upset here, though. Rory O'Shea has just jumped Ronan Doherty, and Sean McGoldrick has as well. So that is a very late improvement for Rory O'Shea and Sean McGoldrick to go second and third here in Long Beach. O'Shea putting in a great lap indeed. King of the P2, as we said, for God knows how many weeks. It seemed like Heat 1 was always Jordan Kelly in first and him in second. But they're continuing on that trend here in Long Beach. Ronan Doherty needs to put in a good lap then. He is coming across to complete a time. He's actually on purple there in the final sector. Oh, could this be the ultimate upset? Could he pip Jordan Kelly maybe? Just heading down towards the start-finish line now. He can't pip Kelly, but he will get back onto the second row of the grid. And in a crucial qualifying with a championship at stake, that's a big time indeed from Ronan Doherty. It'll be untouchable by Rory O'Shea because he won't get around to start or finish another lap, meaning Ronan Doherty will line up alongside Jordan Kelly on the front row here with 10 seconds to go in qualifying. It is the front runners who are performing so far in the championship. Kelly, Doherty, O'Shea, 3 of the 4 who can still wrap up the A-Series title here in RTA Virtual Motorsport, who are performing best. A great lap indeed by Jordan Kelly to round out the ultimate season of qualifying. Although, as the old adage says, points are scored on Sunday. In our case, they're scored after 9 on a Tuesday when the race has started. But it is Jordan Kelly who takes pole ahead of Ronan Darty. Then it is Rory O'Shea ahead of Sean McGoldrick and Dylan McClements. Then it is Sean McClements and Conor Melia, 6th and 7th. Peter McCann will line up 8th ahead of Alexander Milchin in 9th. Kevin Joyce rounds out in 10th with Brian McManus starting 11th. Lawrence de Soswa, good qualifying from him. He starts in 12th. And then the 13th, we do have Joel McDonald ahead of Camto Chukwa. Philip Upson in 15th with Jamal Gandor starting in 16th ahead of Prunty, Stack, Dalton, Hutchings, Schloten, Murphy, TJ Baker, Eric Courier, who returns for this evening, and Mr. Supreme Leader Rob Parks down the back. A very intriguing qualifying indeed, heading into what is a very dramatic season finale. There's a lot of anticipation going into this first corner, I feel. I know it's just Kelly and Darty in the front row once again, but there is a lot at stake here, as I don't actually see Jordan Kelly or Ronan Darty's car. There it is. It's returned on the grid. I was getting a bit panicky for a second that Jordan Kelly had this one wrapped up before he even went racing, but it is a decent enough run down towards the first corner. Overtaking not big around this track. Could be make or break for some drivers to make moves, especially if you are Ronan Darty. Keep an eye on Rory O'Shea on row 2 here, by the way. Ronan Darty and Jordan Kelly both don't know, and I certainly don't know, how he gets such good starts in this Super Formula Lights car. So you got to keep an eye on him as well here on this launch. Sean McGoldrick is usually quick off the line as well. Conor Melia will be looking to not get the start he got in Heat 2 in Hockenheim. It was absolutely disastrous, and he fell way down the order, but did recover. So that is one thing that he can say for the record books, that he finished higher where he qualified technically. As we are just waiting to go. The tyres will be getting cold. We're sat on the grid for the time being. I think we will be getting ready to go now. I think it's a 2-minute break in between the races, as yes, it is. The red lights are getting ready to come on now. It'll be Jordan Kelly and Ronan Darty who will start us out here in Heat 1 for the season finale of RTA Virtual Motorsport as we go racing here in Long Beach. It's a great start for Ronan Darty, already up alongside his championship charger, down towards the first corner and onto Aquarium Way. Rory O'Shea looking to get involved in this one. He needs to make big moves happen as well. Sean McGoldrick as well looking to get involved, and it is going to be Ronan Darty who crucially leads in towards the Dolphin Fountain for the first time here in Heat number 1. He's got the jump on Jordan Kelly. He needs to outscore him by a big amount of points, and he's going well to do so now. Rory O'Shea has got the tyres lit up nicely, and he's got a great start. He's already pressuring the championship leader down towards turn number 6 for the first time. A little bit further back, Dylan and Sean McClements getting away well in 5th and 6th. They've got a steady start, as has Peter McCann in 7th. As there is a crash in the back we're hearing. Jamal Gandor, Sebastian Schloten and Tony Stack have all gone off in the background. We'll have to take another look at that one maybe as the first lap concludes, but that is a couple of drivers who are looking to end the season on a high note who may not be doing so now. It is still Doherty, Kelly and O'Shea as we take a look here at the Gantry TV replay. Let's see what's gone wrong in towards the first corner. I have to say it's a lot cleaner than I thought at the front. All well behaved. I know there's a lot at stake. There you can see Peter McCann rounding as Conor Melia as well. The crash I think is going. Oh, Melia actually caused that one. Conor Melia just spins round and gets in a horrible position at the fountain. There's not really many places he can go there, but that was all under his own accord, Ronan. I'm not sure what you made of that one.
Yeah, absolutely. He just clipped the wall on the inside there, spun himself around, and like you said, absolutely stranded. Where else could he go? He had to sit there and wait, and that puts him right down towards the back.
I would compliment him and say he held his brakes, but there was a wall behind him, so we can't give him that compliment like we do every week. But Conor Melia down the back of the order, very unfortunately. Curly sits 22nd. He is only ahead of Eric Courier, but is chasing down Sebastian Slowden. We saw Jordan Kelly get very close in towards the first corner to Ronan Darty, who was not able to make the move stick. He's now under pressure from Rory O'Shea, who's just behind and heading down East Seaside Way in towards Tournament. I'm very creative street names here in California, by the way, I must say, folks. They're definitely not the most basic things that have ever existed. But Rory O'Shea is going to have to be a lot more creative than they were in terms of overtaking Jordan Kelly, because Jordan could park it on the inside of corners here and very sufficiently stay ahead. Rory O'Shea knows he needs to finish ahead. If Jordan finishes ahead of any of his championship charges, they're pretty much out of contention very early on. Ronan Darty being in front of him for the time being is helping everybody. He is clawing in on points. With the drop rounds, if we've calculated them right, it is a 32-point deficit that Doherty needs to be ahead of Kelly if he wants to become champion. That pretty much means Kelly has to hit a wall or end down the grid somewhere, because currently a 2-point swing Ronan Doherty's taking. 30 points for the win, 28 points for second place. But every little helps, I suppose. He's just one race win and one no score for Jordan Kelly to take the title there. But Kelly doing a great job in second place. I think Jordan, if he does want to become champion as much as we think he does, will just take second place here, because he knows once he's consistent, he will be okay in terms of taking the championship. Now, in terms of other championships to be decided, Kevin Joyce is having a really good attempt here to get himself back into contention in the B Championship, but he is under pressure from Brian McManus. McManus is in 9th place, Kevin Joyce in 8th place. The B Championship, if you're wondering what that is, it is just for drivers who have a slightly lower I rating than our top drivers of the field. The I rating is basically what you are rated as a driver. So I think the threshold is 2,000, but I'm willing to be corrected wrong on that. Jordan Kelly, though, is not willing to stay behind in second place like we once assumed. He's going to try hooking around the outside. Oh, that's a fantastic move by Jordan Kelly. Really threaded the needle there. He will sit behind absolutely no one, and we are fools for assuming that he will. Jordan Kelly is into the lead of this race. That is extremely, extremely brave. Ronan Hederman even with a typical ooh behind the scenes, and I have to say I agree, because that was close.
Yeah, like that's very typical of like what we would have expected from Jordan. I remember the last time that we shared the commentary box together, we were going what was going on with Jordan Kelly, and we were going maybe these cars don't suit him, but then he threads the needle like that, and it's just like bang, he's back up there. You know, if he's driving like that, I can't really see him not sealing the championship, but then again, commentator's curse.
Yeah, could it be Ronan's first commentator's curse? We'll have to see. I've certainly had too many of them. I've had too many according to Stuart Burton as well, but that's another story. Kieran was a fault for that one as well. 5 minutes to go then in the first of 3 heats. It's 10 minutes for heat number 1, 15 for heat number 2, and then 20 for heat number 3. Jordan Kelly is getting off on the right foot here. He's looking to go pole to win once again, but he hasn't had an easy way. Here is Kevin Joyce looking to attack Peter McCann. McCann on the inside. Joyce was on the outside for a brief moment, but Peter McCann able to break much later in towards that corner. A lot at stake for Kevin Joyce as well, as we've previously discussed. So he mightn't be as rash as Jordan Kelly, because he is the man chasing Philip Upson. He doesn't have that buffer like Jordan Kelly does. Here's Sean McGoldrick under pressure from Dylan McClements. McClements looking to try and make the move stick in towards turn number 8. And I tell you what, you're a braver driver than I am if you're going to make a move into that corner. In all honesty, I'm very thankful to be in the commentary box here this evening, rather than trying to overtake drivers at Long Beach, because that is not an easy thing to do. And you're going to see that across the course of the next hour or so. Dylan McClements looking to try and maybe tee up a move in towards turn number 1 by getting a better exit out of the final hairpin on towards East Shoreline Drive, and just get the run over the 1 kilometre straight. Slipstream is powerful enough in these cars, but when they all have slipstream, it kind of counteracts a bit. So Sean McGoldrick not being as close to Rory O'Shea will benefit Dylan McClements, but he just needs to make sure he can make a move stick before Sean recatches up recatches Rory O'Shea, apologies. If Sean caught up Dylan McClements, he'd be lapping him at this point. Alexander Milchan looking to attack Kevin Joyce for 8th place. It seems like all the battles are revolving around Kevin Joyce in this mid-pack. Kevin is not having a quiet race indeed, because any time we seem to look, he's either attacking a car or trying to extend the gap to a car. Lawrence de Salzwa just a little bit behind as well. He's looking to try and get past Brian McManus for 10th place. Lawrence, if he could finish in the top 10 in heat number 1, that will give him a nice base to build off, because Lawrence usually performs better in heat number 2 and heat number 3 than he does in the first heat. That's just what the statistics say, at least, across the course of this season. But it'll be interesting to see how he performs tonight and how he performs in next season's Mustang Series. There'll be more on that with Peter McCann later. He'll have more details on the Mustang Series, but certainly it looks to be an exciting endeavour. Salzwa, a little bit wide actually through there, maybe just suffering from the, I suppose, the bumpy circuit in towards that corner. It's not smooth like butter, this main straight. I can tell you that for sure. And the rest of the track is is not much better. Is Kevin Joyce then going to maybe go for an overtake this time rather than defend when he absolutely is? McCann looking under pressure in towards this first corner. Kevin Joyce going to try recreate what Jordan Kelly did. Oh, wow. Kevin Joyce way ahead in towards the braking zone. Pulls over and defends the inside line. No chance for Peter McCann on this occasion to maybe defend that one, but he might be able to have another go. This is because Kevin Joyce has no slipstream in front, and Peter McCann didn't at the time because Sean McClements has ran up the road and is trying to chase down his brother Dylan and the cars in front of him. There you can see Dylan McClements, and there you can see Sean McClements trying to just chase down the pack. Sean, I'm sure, will be very much reminded of this performance by me and Ronan after the race. But only 30 seconds to go then in this first heat. We will get another lap at it. That'll be the final lap of this one. But for now, it's looking like Jordan Kelly is going to have advantage in the championship. He's actually coming up to a bit of lap traffic, which pulls in the pit lane, so there'll be no hindrance there for Jordan Kelly. White flag raises. There's only 15 seconds to go on the clock, but that will be extended to pretty much another minute because we have one more lap at it. And Jordan Kelly is just running away from Ronan Doherty here. There's absolutely no troubles for Jordan Kelly in this race because that gap is almost at 2 seconds already, 1.6 to be exact. Rory O'Shea needs to just keep in third place out of Sean McGoldrick, but there is no troubles for that actually. It's Dylan who's attacking Sean from behind. I thought Sean was maybe trying to make a move, and just as we cut to Alexander Milchin, he was a man trying to make a move, but he's now a man trying to rejoin the circuit, gone off in towards turn number 1 at Aquarium Way, not able to make the move stick. I think it was it Peter McCann maybe he was going for the move on and just had a bit of a spin. Yeah, it was Peter McCann. Now Alexander Milchin was trying to make the move on, and Dylan McClements is trying to make a move here on Sean McGoldrick, down in towards the back sector of the track, in towards turn number 9. He has got very close as Dylan McClements, but no, he just thinks about the long run and isn't going to send one up the inside. But Jordan Kelly, as he rounds in towards turn number 11, is going to very much put himself in a great position here in this championship. There doesn't really seem to be anyone touching him pace-wise. Jordan Kelly has to fight for it though, but he will take the first heat win here at Long Beach, California. There'll be no trouble there. Ronan Doherty comes home in second, but Jordan has extended that to a 34-point gap that Ronan has to catch in 2 races. Rory O'Shea comes home in third. So top three in the championship, top 3 on the racetrack. There's Brian McManus trying to get Peter McCann, but Peter McCann crosses before the start-finish line. I think Peter McCann has been involved in at least 2 or 3 sprints to the line this season, but he comes out on top in this one. There is Alexander Milchin, who unfortunately falls to 16th place. He was running a lot higher than that for the full 10 minutes of that one. Conor Melia recovers to 18th, which, in all honesty, is not a bad job for Conor Melia. Conor is having a great season compared to the GT4 Cup. He took his 3rd podium of the season in Hockenheim, and his best result in the GT4 Cup was only 4th, so he's beaten that 3 times this season, but not beating that here today. So your full Heat 1 results, it's Jordan Kelly who beats Ronan Doherty and Rory O'Shea. Then it is Sean McGoldrick in 4th, Dylan McClements in 5th, Sean McClements in 6th with Kevin Joyce in 7th, Peter McCann in 8th ahead of Brian McManus in 9th, and it was Lawrence Soswa who comes home in 10th. Then it's Campto Chukwa in 11th position ahead of John McDonald in 12th. Then it was Simon Hutchings in 13th. Then I think it was David Prunty in 14th. No, it wasn't. David Prunty in 15th, apologies. Behind, it seems to be Tony Stack in 14th. Yes, it is. Alexander Milchin in 16th. Sebastian Schloten in 17th, ahead of Conor Melia in 18th. Andrew Murphy in 19th, with Philip Upson in 20th. Aaron Dalton then comes home in 21st. Jamal Gandor in 22nd. And then there was Eric Courier and TJ Baker, 23rd and 24th, ahead of Rob Parks in 25th. Ronan, that was a lot more less chaotic than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Another masterclass by Jordan Kelly, but I'll let you take it away from there.
Yeah, it was a masterclass by Jordan Kelly, and one more of them will all but confirm him as champion here in the Super Formula Light Series. But we have a 15-minute race for him as we go racing in Long Beach. It's another cracking start for Ronan Doherty, and he's going to get up and alongside Jordan Kelly in towards the first corner. Ronan Doherty on the outside, Jordan Kelly on the inside. Rory O'Shea are going to get involved in this one as well, as is Sean McGoldrick. It is pretty much deja vu from heat number 1. Doherty trying to sling it around the outside in towards the fountain. Who's going to be braver into here? Ronan Doherty has to back off, and that allows Jordan Kelly to keep the race lead, and a crucial race lead at that. Rory O'Shea keeping with the top three. Sean McGoldrick falling off a little bit as he's under pressure from Dylan McClemens in the backpack. Ronan Doherty really needs to make a move here, as that's Simon Hutchings, the Welshman, who has some trouble, and he spins at the Dolphin Fountain, so he'll have to recover on towards the circuit. Ronan Doherty still charging down Jordan Kelly, but not able to make a move, quite crucially, because if he lets Jordan Kelly run away with this one, it will be very similar to Heat 1. As you can see, Jordan just sliding out of the corner. We saw on his hot lap on board, he was struggling significantly with the car in this sector of the circuit. Lawrence de Salzwa and Kamto Chukwa battling side by side. It's de Salzwa in the inside in the famous blue and orange, Chukwa on the outside trying to get the job done here around the outside, and that'll be Lawrence de Salzwa who gets the move. So good position in a peculiar part of the track for Lawrence de Salzwa. Brian McManus, the VRA Racing team, gets ahead of Peter McCann in towards turn number 11. That's the first dive we've really seen into the hairpin, so a good move from Brian McManus indeed. And he is going to look and maybe, or sorry, Peter McCann is going to look to try and get back past Jordan Kelly, under no real pressure from Ronan Doherty in towards the first corner. I have to say, Brian McManus under no real pressure from Peter McCann either. Peter just staying behind. Oh, I thought McCann was going to come a cropper there in towards the Acura sponsorship on the right hand side, but he does keep all four wheels on his car and on the track for the time being. It's not like one of these circuits where you have a bit of gravel and then a wall. It is just straight concrete or safer barrier that you will be hitting, so there is no margin for error whatsoever. We're on board Sean McGoldrick, looking back at Dylan McClemens. Dylan would have had plenty view of this diffuser as, oh, McGoldrick does hit the wall. Sean McGoldrick does actually hit the wall in the exit of turn number 8, and that allows Dylan McClemens to get side by side with Sean McGoldrick down towards the right-hander. Here is Dylan on the inside. Dylan breaks later. He has more confidence. Sean McGoldrick stays behind for the time being. I'm not sure if Sean does have damage. Ronan might be able to tell us more.
Yeah, no, I was actually just paying attention. I just saw Lawrence tumbling down the order there, so we might just go to that real quick. I'm not entirely sure if it was just kind of a wall tap by Sean. I think he might have got away lucky, but we'll just cut to this replay of Lawrence de Salzwa real quick.
Let's have a look. Let's see what happened to Lawrence de Salzwa. He's behind Peter McCann here. This is the left-hander at turn number 6. In towards turn number 7. Was it the same place McGoldrick actually went off? Let's have a look. He doesn't go for a move. Does he just get it wrong? Oh,
all
just spins it.
Yep, all on his own. And again, like we've seen, he didn't hold the brake necessarily there either. So yeah, it's one of these places you spin, you're sitting for a long time, and yeah, Lawrence just about gets away with that.
Almost reversed straight into 2 cars as well, but Lawrence did manage to save himself any form of reprimand or penalty from the post-race stewards, as he is looking to try and cut back through the field, getting past Eric Courier now for 14th. Here is Kevin Joyce and Brian McManus. McManus on the outside now with Kevin Joyce, looking to try sling it around here. This is a very difficult move. If he can pay it off, and he can't, it's into the wall goes Kevin Joyce, and that could be the B Championship down the drain for him. Brian McManus was trying a very difficult move to pull off, and Sean McGoldrick having some problems here as well. But Kevin Joyce, the space wasn't really there for McManus. I'm not sure whether Joyce was able to leave it, but they came into contact. Joyce into the wall. He will be the man with the significant damage and the one who's tumbling down the order. Sean McGoldrick seems to be having some problems here after he maybe had a bit of a wall tap, as he is now behind Sean McClemens actually. So Dylan McClemens has gone off somewhere there as well, I think, as I don't see him on the timing order. Yeah, Dylan McClemens is down in 19th actually. So Dylan has had some trouble somewhere. We might cut to that in a second. We will cut to that now. Dylan and Sean may be coming to contact. This is Dylan into the fountain. And you can see he's safe through there. I thought he would have hit that outside wall. If anything, all safe through there as well. That's Rory O'Shea you can see in front. So Sean was a little bit far back. Oh! Just hits the curb. Just hit the curb on the inside, and then he is parked there for the foreseeable future. Does hold the brakes, but seems to be some fairly large damage on board the DDR car for Dylan McClemens. You can see, yeah, there he's in the pits getting a bit of a service. This is Kevin Joyce and Brian McManus then in towards the right-hander. You can see Joyce goes for a clear defensive line. That's all okay there. McManus trying to hook it round the outside, and the space just closes for Brian McManus. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one up to the stewards personally. Ronan, I'm not sure if you have any thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those instances you get away on a bigger track, right? Um, yeah, like I think that's going to be down to, was he squeezed? It's hard to tell on the street circuit, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a very difficult corner to make the move, and I don't know if the stewards will maybe see that and go, "Oh, Brian, you mightn't have gone for that one," or whether they'll just see it as Kevin didn't really leave the space. But we'll leave that one to them, sorry, and we'll move on. I was just looking through turn number 5, how close Jordan, Ronan, and Rory are already getting to that wall. It's not taking them long to get up to speed. Obviously, there's a Monday night practice session, and an extraordinary practice session was organised from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. last night because these drivers specifically requested it. Not as in Jordan, Ronan, and Rory, as in all the drivers specifically requested it because they needed more practice. That's not something you usually hear, especially in RTA, where the caliber of driver is top tier, and it is one of the best series. It is the best series in Ireland, I should say. Don't sack me, Mark Parks. But it is definitely definitely interesting to see how far these drivers are starting to push now when they realise there's a championship on the line. Alexander Milchin has jumped up to 5th place there. I'm not sure if that's a timing tower glitch or if he has actually jumped up to 5th place, as you can see him there. No, I do genuinely think he is in 5th place. So Alexander Milchin running a steady job here after what was a pretty catastrophic end to the last heat, but there's been a few incidents that have helped him. Kamto Chukwa is up to 6th place as well. Kevin Joyce down to 18th, if you're wondering what happened to him after the incident. And Brian McManus is down the order as well. You can see Aaron Dalton making a move on Eric Coulier there in the background. There's Brian McManus. I couldn't find him on the timing screen. Thank you very much, Ronan, for spotting him there. That's 11th for Brian McManus. He is behind Sean McGoldrick now, who's struggling after that damage. But up the front, Jordan Kelly is all but confirming the championship with this performance because he's untouchable for the time being. And it is maybe a performance we have become accustomed to throughout the season. When he wins one race, he usually wins another. When he leads from the front, he usually wins, unless it's at the Nürburgring, where we saw what happened when he led from the front in that race. But he is doing exactly what he needs to do, even with drop rounds to come into play. It won't matter if you win all the races.
Yeah, just looking there, the keen-eyed of you will probably have noticed that the timing tower has now gone completely white. There is no battles going on right now. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars that are a lap down. Like, this track has really separated the men from the boys.
Yeah, you've absolutely nailed it on the head there. It's separating the men from the boys, and those who may struggle with pace, but might be able to get up due to incidents and stuff. They're having no chance here today because they're getting themselves wrapped up in incidents before they can even try to survive. And Jordan Kelly, let's call a spade a spade, has probably been the quickest all season, and it's a track that that really rewards those who are quick and who can push these cars on to the limit because they're tricky enough cars to drive. They did get chassis and aerodynamic upgrades recently when they were upgraded, but it's still a very tricky car to get your hands on. And we saw, I suppose, the ability the drivers has picked up since the opening round of the season, because the opening round there was a lot of mistakes, there was a lot of spins, and the drivers have got quicker and quicker over time. I think Conor Melly is a good example of that. He's certainly got quicker in these cars, bar this evening where he's been up and down the order slightly, currently sat behind Brian McManus in 12th position. But yeah, Jordan Kelly and Ronan Doherty as well, and Rory O'Shea, to be fair to them, are just way out the front. But it's looking like it's Jordan Kelly's to lose at this point. Rory O'Shea is in 3rd, falling off the order. Ronan Doherty, who never really falls off Jordan Kelly, apart from the rare occasion, is falling off him as well, and not due to his own mistakes, purely due to the extreme pace from Jordan Kelly. Long Beach used to decide the IndyCar Championship, and it was always a chaotic one. It's probably the least chaotic race for the season here in Super Formula Lights. You can just see riding on board with Ronan Doherty. You can't even see Jordan Kelly at this point. There he comes back into view now, but it's a slightly curved main straight here in Long Beach, and Jordan just kind of looks like a dot on the screen for Ronan Doherty. He's not all over his rear wing, he's not all over his gearbox and trying to make a move. He's genuinely suffering for pace here, and let's watch Ronan Doherty as he heads through this sort of sector. That's a perfect camera. Let's see how close he gets to the wall on the exit of turn number 5. Not as close as he has got on previous occasions, but still close enough for Ronan Darty. So he is pushing. He is giving it everything here. I know Ronan doesn't let on that he cares from time to time, but trust me, he's a man who likes winning. He's a man who wants to succeed here in RTA, and certainly beating Jordan Kelly will be a goal of his. He beat him in Formula Fords. He didn't really race in the GT4 Cups, to be fair to him, but in the Super Formula Lights, Jordan, as of now, is beating him. But the only thing is, if the tables were turned and Ronan was beating Jordan, we'd probably be saying how impressive it is for Ronan Darty. So he is doing an exceptional job as well. Another man doing well so far is Alexander Milton. The man who was doing well is the man we're looking at now, Peter McCann, but he has fallen down the order here, something terrible, and he was way up. Not sure if he got involved in an incident or whether it's just a pace deficit or something. Here's a Gantry TV replay to see what's happened to Peter McCann, if anything has happened, down the main straight. That is one of the VRA racing cars in front of him, I believe. It's certainly a green car. One of the McClements brothers is there as well. You can see the Irish flag rear wing in towards the first corner. Ah, that's what happened to Peter McCann. Slap into the wall. I thought he hit that wall earlier, to be fair. He just decided to go and confirm that one for me, and it was into the pit lane for a service for Peter McCann. So disappointing for Peter, who is certainly up there and has certainly been one of those drivers who has improved across the course of the season. Ah, finally, a battle on our hands. Lawrence de Salzwa and Andrew Murphy are deciding to scrap here for the bottom of the top 10 places. This is for P9. De Salzwa came around these places in the first heat. He's looking to just jump up the order a little bit for the reverse grid race. Currently on the reverse pole is Andrew Murphy. Apologies, this is actually the battle for 8, so this is the battle for the reverse grid pole. Andrew Murphy doing very well to get himself into this position, and he's now going to try and defend in that papaya coloured car, the colour that McLaren are, in case I still butchered that one, to keep ahead of Lawrence de Salzwa. Andrew just parking it on the apex there and not letting Lawrence de Salzwa get close to him down towards turn number 9. This is the corner where it all went wrong for Brian McManus and Kevin Joyce. De Salzwa decides not to go for the move. He'll just stick behind and potentially go for it down towards turn number 1. In terms of the B Championship, Philip Upson currently one position ahead of Kevin Joyce on circuit, as there goes Andrew Murphy round. I'm not sure if he was tapped from behind by Lawrence de Salzwa there, but he's behind him now. Lawrence de Salzwa is just staying in front, Ronan. I'm not sure if you caught whether there was a tap there or not.
It didn't look like it. We can jump to it real quick, actually. I just noticed it just after popping up on my screen here, so let's just jump to it real quickly.
Let's have a look then and see whether there was a bit of contact, whether there was a bit of net code. There's usually some contact on the exit of that corner. Was Andrew Murphy just over eager?
Yeah, over eager is right in that Alex Dunn inspired livery. Yeah, and a big slap off the wall as well. Ouch.
Yeah, that's not nice for Andrew Murphy in the Alex Dunn inspired livery. Oh, he drives for McLaren. Yeah, I'm right. Don't come slander me in the comments. I'm still right. As this is a replay for Dylan McClements, actually. Is this? Oh no, that was the incident earlier. So yeah, Andrew Murphy still only one spot behind Lawrence de Salzwa, to be fair, but he is under pressure from Sean McGoldrick now. Here is Dylan McClements looking to try and overtake Peter McCann. This is a battle that's not usually for so low down the order. This is a battle that's for up higher, and you can see McClements maybe going to try and get it done in towards turn number 1. This is the corner really where Peter McCann has struggled, got close to that wall on one occasion, got personal with the wall on another and slapped it through there. And quite ironically, as I'm saying that, he's actually quicker through that first corner. But McClements closes up on the brakes in towards the fountain. I think the corner like the fountain is where the quicker drivers are excelling, because they are able to brake that much later, get that much closer to the wall and to the curbing in the fountain. And especially that wall on the exit, and that's where they're really making a difference. But Dylan McClements not able to get close enough, but still has a little bit of time in this race to do so. No, he doesn't. This is the last lap. Or is it the last lap? No, we're actually going to get one more Jordan Kelly, if he had just done his last couple of laps a few seconds slower, might have took one more lap off it, but that's not a risk you want to take. This is not Le Mans, where you've been running for 24 hours. Here's Sean McGoldrick trying to get past Andrew Murphy. Oh, great defence from Andrew Murphy on this occasion. Sean McGoldrick not able to get the job done. Andrew will have to defend one more lap if he wants to finish ahead of Sean McGoldrick. Andrew might not have the pace advantage over these drivers, but he certainly is all elbows out, taking a very defensive line in towards turn number 9. Sean looking to do better than Brian McManus did in through here. Oh, he's going to try a beautiful up and under as Jordan Kelly, we see, rounding through here in towards this very sector now. We're back to the Murphy battle, and Andrew Murphy, shockingly, is still ahead. He's not over eager on the traction this time, but Sean McGoldrick will get a great run down towards the first corner. Can he maybe go for the inside line? It's a tricky one to get as Andrew Murphy is defending well here. Goes for the defensive line once again. But Sean McGoldrick has the overspeed in towards the corner. Murphy still giving up absolutely everything, and he's not going to let this one go. But Sean McGoldrick hangs it round the outside, and a fantastic move indeed by him. Jordan Kelly comes across the start-finish line to lead home Ronan Doherty and all but confirm his next RTA championship. A great race from Jordan Kelly, a dominant performance once again. It'll be Ronan Doherty second, Rory O'Shea third. They finished in the same positions they started in, and then it'll be Sean McClemens who comes home in fourth. Here's Kamto Chukwa. He is hounding down Alexander Milchin through the final corner, but Milchin has got a much better exit and will finish ahead of Kamto Chukwa. Lawrence de Soswell will come home a steady eighth. Great result there for Lawrence. He'll be on the reverse pole then for the next race. It'll be a Lawrence de Soswell, John McDonald front row in towards the first corner at Long Beach. Yeah, that could be intriguing. As Lawrence gets the job done. Here is Sean McGoldrick coming home in ninth. Oh, Andrew Murphy has actually lost the spot to Brian McManus there. So Andrew doesn't get ninth, doesn't get 10th. He'll come home 11th, just outside the top 10 placings. So it'll be Conor Melia who comes home in 12th. Ronan, I'm being made look a fool here. I said it was going to be chaotic. It's anything but, really.
Yeah, it's relatively clean, but I feel like instead of it being someone's overall fault, I think it's been actually the individual driver's fault. Would it be fair to say that?
Yeah, I think so. It's not necessarily big incidents, but there's certainly a few incidents involved in there. Just running through the results quickly so we can have a couple of interviews. It is Jordan Kelly who's ahead of Ronan Doherty and Rory O'Shea. Then it is Sean McGoldrick ahead of Dylan McClemens, Sean McClemens, Conor Melia. Then it is Peter McCann ahead of Alexander Milchin. I'm not sure I'm reading the right results on the SDK timing screen because Conor Melia did not finish that high up. I'll try read it off the broadcast. Sorry, folks. It is Jordan Kelly ahead of Ronan Doherty ahead of Rory O'Shea. Then it is Sean McClemens, Alexander Milchin, who's ahead of Kamto Chukwa. Then it is John McDonald ahead of Lawrence de Soswa. And then in ninth position, it is Sean McGoldrick ahead of Brian McManus in the top 10. Let's hear from the top three drivers then. Firstly, we'll hear from Jordan Kelly, who took the first two wins. Jordan, you made it look easy again.
I had to work for that first race, I swear, because once you get in the aero wash, like it's so hard to get close enough to make a get in the toe and stuff. So I think Ronan made a mistake in the last two corners and allowed me to get down the straight, but it was kind of a bit of a risky pass around the outside. But I kind of wanted to get in the lead because it's so hard to drive with the aero wash and stuff.
In terms of the reverse grid race, then, there's not many overtaking opportunities. With
Mhm.
the championship all pretty much in your back pocket now, are you just going to be playing it safe, or is it going to be another Jordan Kelly hell for leather performance?
I'll want to go out as good as I can, like, but obviously, if I get a big uh, penalty for hitting somebody or something, that would be a big problem. So probably just calm it down a wee bit and just pick off people that maybe are hitting walls or something and getting damaged. Hopefully.
And then in terms of this track, how difficult is it going into this last race? Because we've seen it's bumpy, we've seen there's a lot of curbs. Is it as difficult as it looks?
Yeah, it really is. Like pushed on the limit for that length of time and not touching a wall, which I did actually touch a wall that second race and gave myself wheel damage at about 15 degrees or something, but it didn't affect my straight line lucky enough. So but it's gonna be tricky, as for sure, especially now with the reverse grid, because I was practicing trying to get on pole position as much as I could. It's so tough behind somebody, but Ronan is just unreal at the starts. That made it interesting.
Jordan, thank you very much for joining us. We hope to hear from you afterwards, maybe with another RTA championship in your back pocket.
Fingers crossed. Thanks.
Let's hear from the second place now, Ronan Doherty, after his two first race. Ronan, you got the jump on Jordan into the first corner on both occasions, but you finished second. Is it just his pace, or what else is happening out there?
Jordan's got really good pace, and I don't quite. Not consistently anyway. Like, I can maybe do one lap matching him, or just like half a tenth off him, but like not really consistently. I couldn't get on to practice last night, so I think that sort of bit me a bit. But to be fair, like, I think he was that far ahead in the championship. It wouldn't have really mattered if he had finished second. You know what I mean? I'd have been hoping for something else to happen.
Going into this last race, then, what's the mindset? Are you just going to try enjoy it, get what you can, or are you still thinking maybe how you can win this title?
I don't know. I have to do all the maths, but I don't know if I can win the title. I'm not quite sure. I think it was sort of lost last week in Hockenheim in the third race. But look, go in and just try to do my best. Like I say, it's probably going to be a little bit of carnage on the street course. And I think I learned a thing or two there. I'm just going back, watching where I was listening to Jordan at the end of the lap. I pretty much lose all my time. I was listening at the end of the lap, and I think I found something. So give it a try and hope for the best.
Well, we hope you found something as well, and we're looking for a barnstormer here in this last round. Ronan, thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers, lads.
And Ronan, do we have time for one more? We do. Oh, that confirms that one. Rory O'Shea, P3 and P3 in the first two rounds. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I think it's have to take at the stage. I don't think I have the pace of Jordan and Ronan, so I kind of just made a conscious decision to keep it on track, so let's try to do the same now in the final.
And then in the third heat, reverse grid, of course, you are starting ahead of Ronan and Jordan. You're usually quicker off the starts. Is it a case of just staying in front of them and getting elbows out?
Yeah, I think so. Try to make a bigger gap between all of them as I can, and hopefully don't have time to catch up.
And then Long Beach, are you liking it so far?
Yeah, it's a brilliant track. It's so different to kind of what we're used to, especially on iRacing, so it's nice to get something different.
Well, Rory, we're going to let you go and get ready for the next heat, and we hope to hear from you afterwards.
Yeah, cheers, lads.
It's nice to hear someone enjoy this track. I didn't think I would hear that, but Rory O'Shea is enjoying the difference here. Let's run you through your grid then for the final race of this season of RTA Virtual Motorsport, and it is Lawrence de Soswa who starts on pole position ahead of John McDonald in second, Kamto Chukwa in third, Alexander Milchin in fourth, Sean McClements then in fifth with Rory O'Shea in sixth, and then in seventh it is Ronan Doherty and eighth Jordan Kelly. Sean McGorrick starts ninth ahead of Brian McManus, who starts in 10th. Andrew Murphy starts in 11th with Conor Melia starting in 12th. And then it is David Prunty who starts 13th with Simon Hutching starting in 14th. Then it's Dylan McClements ahead of Peter McCann. And it is your two B Championship rivals in the form of Philip Upson and Kevin Joyce. Eric Courier then starts ahead of Aaron Dalton and Jaman Gondor. Tony Stack ahead of Sebastian Schloten, who's ahead of TJ Baker and Rob Parks. Not sure if TJ and Rob are actually in this one because I don't think we've seen them in the last couple of races. But here we go then. For final time in the Super Formula Lights machineries, we go racing here at Long Beach, and that's a great start for John McDonald. Lawrence de Soswa does get up the gears nicely though, and it looks like Kamto Chukwa is going to try and rival them both in towards the first corner. Here comes Kamto trying to get the inside line on both John and both Lawrence. Keep an eye on the championship protagonists in the background as well. It's all timid in towards the first corner. Rory O'Shea looking to make positions up. He has got one of his famous O'Shea starts, and he is up to fourth place. There is Ronan Doherty. He's got ahead of both Sean McClements and Jordan Kelly. Jordan Doherty, that's cursed. Jordan Kelly in towards P number 6, and turn number 6 goes Ronan Doherty, who is looking to just try get everything out of this final race. We're not sure if he can mathematically win it once the drop has come into place, and there is a collision between Jordan Kelly and his cousin Sean McClellan. Sean just hit the back of Ronan Doherty, and Jordan just drove straight into the scene of the accident. Jordan gets going as quick as he can. Well, isn't that a turn for the Bucks? Lawrence de Salzburg still leads ahead of Camto Chukwa in second. John McDonald defending Rory O'Shea for third, but John's got it all wrong. In towards the right-hander, Rory O'Shea's going to swoop round the outside and get the job completed there. Ronan Doherty still charges on. He sniffs a chance now, and it's a send down the inside. John is wayward, heading for the final hairpin. John McDonald almost was like an extension to the barrier there for Ronan Doherty. He had so much more speed. John had to bleed the speed to try get the car turned in, but Ronan Doherty is ahead. He is being challenged by Brian McManus behind, though. Brian McManus, not a championship at stake for him, so he's going to go for it. He wants track position. Brian is ahead. Ronan's got it wrong. Ronan Doherty into the wall. Ronan Doherty is into the wall, and that is it done. Oh, there we go. There's what we expected. Andrew Murphy in the air. It is Doherty and Kelly who've both got it wrong here in heat number 3. That's all going to confirm Jordan Kelly as your season champion. We'll still wait for official confirmation at the end of the race, but let's have a look here on the Gantry TV replay. Brian McManus had the move all but done on Jordan Kelly. John McDonald, I think, was looking to try to get up the inside as well, just wasn't close enough. There is Jordan Kelly trying the outside. Did he just carry too much speed? Oh, he lost it on the brakes, and then into the wall. Milchin hits the side of him, narrowly avoided by Melia. Murphy can't avoid. Peter McCann just goes straight under both of them. That was quite impressive, actually, by Peter McCann. In fact, he got through there fairly unscathed. It was almost like a battering ram for him. But that is it, pretty much. Ronan Doherty, once again, not having a great heat great race in heat number 3, I should say. And he is out of it. That is very disappointing if you are Ronan Doherty. On the other hand, Lawrence de Salzburg is having a fantastic race so far, ahead of Camto Chukwa and Rory O'Shea. Here's Rory O'Shea looking at top off the season in fine form. Late braking manoeuvre, gets past Camto, and that is the move completed. Ronan, we finally got the carnage we were looking for.
Bloody hell is all I can say. Literally was thinking, okay, the one thing that we were hoping wouldn't happen to Jordan Kelly happened, and then the other contender, Ron Doherty, ends up spinning on his own. Like, fair enough, if somebody had actually hit him or something, I kind of wouldn't have said much about it. Oh, there's Peter McCann gone.
Oh, Peter McCann round, and that's a mistake under his own accord as well. It's the exact same spin that Dylan McClements had. And he hits the wall in the same way.
Not ideal.
As well.
Not ideal.
Peter, can't get going now, though. There is actually a bit of a gap. And Eric Courier. Eric Courier up to 12th, by the way. That's a cracking start for him. Both himself and Peter in the same livery, of course. We'd love to see Eric beat Peter, maybe, because I think he'd have bragging rights over Peter then there. But Eric with a great start in this one. And Ronan, in all honesty, when I woke up this morning, I didn't think Lawrence de Salzburg and Rory O'Shea would be fighting for this win.
Yeah, no, neither did I. Lawrence, well, I was talking to Lawrence at the weekend, and he was a couple of pints deep when he jumped in the simulator at an event I was at, and yeah, regardless, he's still quick. You can't discount him. But again, it's a case of this track is so tight. But look at the likes of Rory O'Shea catching him here, hand over fist essentially. I can't really see him holding on to it for much longer.
Yeah, and Rory O'Shea, speaking of that event, Rory actually succeeding at that event as well. It's fantastic what information you get out of Ronan when he calls you during the day. But Rory O'Shea is hounding down Lawrence de Salzburg. Lawrence, it's time to channel your inner Ayrton Senna here from Monaco all those years ago and keep Rory O'Shea behind, because this could be a very interesting battle. Lawrence needs to channel his inner Dylan McClements as well, just from Brands Hatch, but I'm not sure if this lead lasts much longer. Rory O'Shea in towards the right-hander. That was rather anticlimactic in the end, I think. Rory has made that look fairly simple at a track where overtaking is not really possible. Lawrence de Salzburg, though, is looking to still fight to pick up a podium. That would be fantastic if he was able to take it. Rory O'Shea is looking to pick up only his second win of the season. Himself and Jordan Kelly finished 1-2 on so many occasions, but actually, fun fact now that I think of it, last week, it was the first time where the top 4 were all the same in heat number 1 and heat number 2. He might have equaled it this week, but in all honesty, I can't remember who came fourth in both races. I think it could have been Sean McClements. Here's Peter McCann, though. He had a spin under his own accord, and now he's trying to get past Sebastian Schloten. Sebastian, I don't think, has even been in the top 10 once this season, let alone finished in it. So this is good for Sebastian. That's not ideal for Ronan Doherty. He's gone straight on at the first corner, and he's now stuck behind an advertising sponsorship. Okay, he's found a way out. That's turn number 1 again, and turn number 1 has become a real problem zone for Ronan Doherty. Jordan is now 12th. Ronan is now 19th. And the slim chance he had, I think, is all but gone now. Let's have a look at the Gantry TV replay and see what's gone on here. Is he broke too late? Going for a move, maybe? That is Simon Hutchings, I believe. He's going to overtake, and you can see Ronan Doherty. Is it a brake problem again? Yes, it is. And he saved that quite nicely, but that is one of the weirder incidents I've seen of the season. I'm not sure about you, Ronan.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I was expecting him to have maybe been squeezed or something, but yeah, that's very unusual from Ronan to outbrake himself that much. Now, he obviously had the hindsight to go down the runoff, but yeah, not a move we see from, the guys at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, it's probably frustration, I think, for Ronan, because the season is over now for him pretty much. He's not going to win this one and end on a high note. And Peter McCann maybe do so. Maybe not win, but ended on a high note. Not able to get past Sebastian Slaughton. That's a mature move from Peter McCann, because he could have gone down the inside there, but it might have resulted in an incident in there. The opportunity arises. Slaughton slow through the fountain, and Peter McCann will dive down the inside. That's going to be one of the first moves in history to do it in turn number 4 since Long Beach started in 1975, and still goes on today. That's one of the first drivers to do it through there. And there is Dylan McClements missing a left wheel, and he's heading down from turn number 8 to turn number 9. I'm pretty sure we can all imagine what's happened there. He's gone up wide in turn number 8 and hit the wall, and that is a wheel missing for Dylan McClements. Let's have a look here. Oh, has he done it earlier potentially? I've done it earlier. He's safe through there. Yeah, it's got to be in towards turn number 8 then, where he will do what Sean McGoldrick got away with earlier. Oh, he actually hit the wall on the inside first and then hit the wall on the outside. Let's cast back to my lap guide where it said you got to be careful on your entrance in towards that corner. I say that because I've done it many a time. And that is Dylan out of this one as well. So there's no fairy tale ending for Dylan McClements, Jordan Kelly, or Ronan Doherty. Jordan might still be feeling fairly happy after it, but Dylan into the wall as well. Rory O'Shea is clear at the front of this one, 2.5 seconds over Lawrence de Soswa and Camto Chukwa. But Heat 3, I tell you what, it has provided some mix-ups this season. It's provided some interesting results. Last week, for example, the Heat 3 podium had Conor Melliot and Brian McManus on it. The week before had Lawrence de Soswa and Peter McCann. The week before was a little bit more normal, but that's still besides the point. It has provided us with some interesting action. Tony Stack, we've not mentioned him much this evening. It seems like Kieran McGinley is always the man to commentate on the Tony Stack battles, but he has got up to a healthy P8, chasing down Simon Hutchings, and the Kerryman is just looking to pick up some solid points this evening. I'm not sure if Tony likes GAA, but I'm not going to tell him what team I support for my own sake. But the Kerryman and Kerry seeing quite a lot of victories these days, and Tony has had a good season, I think. It's been steady. Nothing too fantastic, but nothing low down either. He sits a healthy 13th in the championship and is going to gain some points over David Prunty and Philip Upson. There's a massive gap in the championship, actually, of almost 100 points, 98 points between Lawrence de Soswa and Tony Stack, which goes to show there's two sides to this field, but we do have interesting battles in both. And you can see Camto Chukwa looking to embark on some interesting battles. He's got Brian McManus right behind. 10 minutes to go for the season. Camto would love to hang on to a second podium here in his RTA virtual motorsport career. A first season for Camto Chukwa, the sim racer, but he has provided us with some great action. He's been very quick as well. Won Gamerfest in 2023, of course, which Dylan McClements won in 2024. He also was a Race Prodigy Search finalist as well 4 times, was Camto Chukwa. So he's a man who knows his way around a virtual racetrack, as does this fella, whoever he is. Jordan Kelly gets past Sebastian Slaughton for 10th position, and he's just looking to have some fun, bit of a comeback drive to wrap up a fantastic season. Dylan McClements now battling with Andrew Murphy in the MP Motorsports replica livery, which it's taken me 8 rounds to realise, but that's besides the point. Dylan McClements looking to try and get the move done in towards the right-hander here. You can see him tucked into the slipstream. Is he going to go for it? No. I have to say, actually, Dylan got that car serviced really quickly. You can see just getting close in towards the hairpin. Andrew might be... Oh, Andrew actually bumping with Dylan McClements there. Andrew, I was going to say, has actually been a bit of a hindrance for some of the drivers in terms of his defensive approach. He's really going for the I'm going slow so you can't get past me approach. And I have to say, I respect that quite a lot because it's working really well here. We saw it working with Sean McGoldrick for some time. We're now seeing it work with Dylan McClements. 2 wins in the season for Dylan McClements. It's actually less than he won in the GT4 Cup, but still a positive season for Dylan indeed. As I said earlier, I think there's a higher caliber of driver here in the Super Formula Lights maybe than there was in the GT4 Cup, and that's no disrespect to anyone who raced in the GT4 Cup but not in the Super Formula Lights, as Tony Steck raced in both, but he's having a bit of a spin here. Guess who I said was having a steady season earlier? Well, it was Tony Stack, and that is a commentator's curse that even Stuart Brereton would be proud of. Tony spun round. Oh, is he able to get going? Oh, well done to whoever that was. I think that's Alexander Milchin who avoided him, because him moving there allowed Tony to get going. As we see someone heading into the pit lane in the background, that's Eric Courier who heads into the pit lane. But Tony, in that spin, actually is only in 12th position, which I suppose goes back to your point, Ronan, earlier. There's such a field spread here.
Yeah, that's your commentator's curse for the evening. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
But yeah, there's drivers that, when you talk to them in general, will have either a tin top preference or they'll have an open wheeler preference. Tony can be either end of that spectrum, but again, like you said, we didn't see too much of him this season. Like, we didn't even get even that much coverage of Tony this season. We jumped to him every now and again for the odd overtake, but yeah, kind of an average season for Tony, but an unfortunate little spin there.
Yeah, unfortunate spin for Tony. It'll not be really a race to remember if you have a spin in it, but still could pick up a steady result in all honesty. Now comes the point where we start thinking about our driver of the day, folks. So if you're in the stream chat watching at home and you have a preference, make sure to pop it in, because we will read out a couple of results. I don't have Kieran McGinley to bounce off here today, so I can't gaslight him into picking my pick. So you can try and gaslight me to do it. But a lot of good options here this evening, I think. There's it's more difficult one potentially, but that is a conversation for 7 minutes' time. Here's Sean McGoldrick looking to try and get past Brian McManus. Brian still not able to find a way past Kamto Chukwa, and Kamto is putting all his experience to the test here and trying to keep Brian McManus behind. Down towards the first corner. Where is McManus going to go? He's going to go for the outside. That almost seems like the optimized line for drivers heading through here. And Kamto Chukwa has the inside. Is McManus able to slick around the outside? Oh, he's turned too early, and both of them go into the Acura wall, heading in towards turn number 1. Brian, I think, might have chopped off the front of Kamto Chukwa there. I think Kamto was entitled to more racing room than he got, was pushed onto the curb. That spun the both of them. Brian gets going in 5th, Kamto in 6th, but that is gifted Sean McGoldrick a podium placing here at Long Beach, and it's gifted Conor Melly a P4. Conor was a beneficiary of the Peter McCann, Sean McClemens incident last week. He's now a beneficiary of the Brian McManus, Kamto Chukwa incident, and that is not what should be going out of the back of a race car. Brian McManus with some damage. They did both hit the wall rear end on, and I think Kamto Chukwa is actually going slow as well. In terms of the gap, he has a massive gap to Simon Hutchings behind, but Simon is closing it at an absolute rate of knots. So I think that could be significant damage for Kamto Chukwa. I don't need to look at lap times to tell you the significant damage for Brian McManus. That car is done, or certainly needs to head to the pit lane, and he will do so by heading round the final hairpin. In some single-seater championships, they can actually skip the final hairpin to go into the pit lane, but that's not available on iRacing, so they are both in to the pits. And any good result for Brian and Kamto is unfortunately gone. I think the stewards might have a look at that one as well, or if Kamto reports it, because, yeah, going by my thoughts, I think that was Brian McManus' fault. Peter McCann has also had some trouble here. He has crashed in the meantime while we were looking at that incident. Let's have a look at the Gantry TV instant replay then and see what has happened to Peter. Oh, he's battling here actually. This is with Jordan Kelly, the champion-elect. Kelly going to try and hang it around the outside with McCann. Oh! That is a horrible incident, and a peculiar one of that. They made a bit of contact, and then McCann just went up and lifted. That is, wow, that's a big impact. And Ronan, I'm not sure if you heard him there, but Jordan continued on without big damage. Peter certainly had to go into the pit lane. That is a hefty impact to end the season for Peter McCann. Ronan, I think you might agree. Peter's not really had the rub of the green this season.
Yeah.
Oh, and as I say that, was that him going straight on by any chance?
Oh, it might have been.
Hold on, cut to Peter McCann for a second if you can. Let's see where he is.
I can't even see him on the leaderboard. There we go.
Oh, it was.
Oh, it was.
Oh, it was.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anytime you talk to Peter this season, it's just been a case of well, and then maybe sometimes a bit of frustration because we've seen he was on the podium this season. So like we've seen he is capable. And I think he's got a locked front right wheel, has he?
He's done something wrong.
Yeah, I was right.
Yeah, there we go. Peter McCann, as we were previously stating, has not had the rub of the green this season. He's in a spot of bother once again. I thought he was out of the pit lane fairly quickly for a car that went in the air. I'm not sure if that's sustained. I mean, oh my goodness me. The 10-minute conversation we're planning to embark on with Peter McCann in a few moments' time will be very interesting, folks. So make sure you stick along for that one. Yeah, Peter has had a few run-ins with front rows this season, and this one will. No, I think the Sean McClements one still might hurt a little bit more because he was battling for a podium position, where this he was down the order. Lawrence de Salzwa is now being chased down by Sean McGoldrick in the final positions. Rory O'Shea, Sean McGoldrick was the result in Heat 3 at the Nürburgring when we saw Kelly, Doherty and the McClements brothers have their issues. That could be the result here again this evening if he is able to get past Lawrence de Salzwa. Lawrence will be happy with a podium, I think, but he'd like to take that place.
Sorry, I'll just go. I'll go back in there, Evan. I looked back up. I looked back up the list and went, where did Campto go? And I see a little red box here saying Campto Chukwa has crashed. So we will have a quick look at that.
This was the one into turn 1. Surely, with Brian. Yeah, it is. This is the one into the first corner. So this is what happened to Campto Chukwa again. This is the. Let's have another proper look at this one then. So Campto on the inside. Here's McManus.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I think that is Brian's fault.
Yeah, big change up at the front. Like, it's hard to say at this stage. Like we could end up with a back runner at the front of this rate.
Yeah, we could end up with someone mad, as there is Sebastian Schloten, who I tell you what has had his best race this season, I think, in this, and he has just been overtaken by Campto Chukwa, but he'll still be very happy with a top 10. Here is Lawrence de Salzwa and Sean McGoldrick then, as we're coming into the dying embers here of the season, of the evening at Long Beach, and of Heat 3 and this podium battle. This, I believe, or this could be the last lap. I'm not sure. No, I think we will have one more due to how far in front Rory O'Shea is. So Sean McGoldrick might have one more run down the straight. Oh, really, actually, there's 15 seconds left for Rory O'Shea. I'm not so sure we will have one more lap. 10 seconds to go, and it seems like if Rory O'Shea could realistically just lift off the power here and end this race in first place. He loves the track, does Rory O'Shea? Is he going to get one more? Is he lifting? Oh, he's crossed the line with 1 second. So we will get one more lap. Rory O'Shea loves the track so much, he wants to go one more. Sean McGoldrick couldn't be happier with that news, because he can have one more proper go on Lawrence de Salzwa down towards the first corner. Lawrence trying to get the defensive manoeuvres out from last season's season finale in Long Beach. Here he goes, McGoldrick on the inside, de Salzwa on the outside, just trying to keep committed, but it won't work. Sean McGoldrick is up to second place. Lawrence de Salzwa's been denied of a second place finish here on the last lap, but he's got to keep it all together because Conor Melia is right behind him as well. well, and Lawrence will want to finish on the podium. He will be raging the fact there was 1 second left when Rory O'Shea crossed the line. There was 1 second of driving separating Lawrence from second and third. But third, I still think he'll be happy with. There's Brian McManus, who's had some trouble. And that goes to show, by the way, how big the field spread is. Rory's almost finished the race. This is 7th, crossing the start-finish line to start the final lap. Here is Rory O'Shea, though. He was almost close to lapping most of the field. In towards the final corner. It'll be a second win of the season for Rory O'Shea. There's no championship win for the Munster man, but he will end the season on top in first position. And it is Rory O'Shea in the High Prix who takes the race win. An excellent job there by him. Sean McGoldrick will come home in second. Lawrence de Soswa will come home in third. So it is still another podium this season from Lawrence de Soswa. And a fabulous performance indeed, and some comeback from the arm injury earlier on. Conor Mellier returns to the top 5, and he will finish in 4th. That's a great recovery from where he was in the opening heat. Simon Hutchings with his best result of the season in 5th. The Welshman who, would I be right in saying, had an incident at the start of one of the heats? He'll come home in 5th spot ahead of Jordan Kelly in 6th. And I believe your new RTA, or not new, your new Super Formula Lights champion. He's certainly not new to winning championships, but we will have that all but confirmed at the end of the broadcast by the higher-ups here in RTA Virtual Motorsport. Brian McManus comes home in 7th. Then it'll be John McDonald who comes home in 8th. And from the front row to 8th, I know on paper that doesn't seem great, but considering the calibre of driver, that's not a bad result for John McDonald. Camto does recover to 9th position ahead of Sebastian Schloten, who comes home in 10th. An exquisite job there by Sebastian to pick up a good result. Tony Stack recovers to 11th. Dylan McClements recovers to 12th. Or does he? Has he actually crossed the start finish line? Yeah, he has. And he will see us home. So it is Rory O'Shea who takes the race win ahead of Sean McGoldrick in 2nd, Lawrence de Soswa in 3rd, Conor Mellier in 4th, with Simon Hutchings in 5th, Jordan Kelly in 6th, ahead of Brian McManus in 7th, John McDonald in 8th, Camto Chukwa comes home in 9th, Sebastian Schloten in 10th, ahead of Tony Stack in 11th, Dylan McClements comes home in 12th, ahead of Andrew Murphy in 13th, Ronan Doherty comes home 14th after his incident. Packed race. Then in 15th position it is Philip Upson ahead of Sean McClements in 16th, Alexander Milton in 17th. The man who I believe has just joined me was in 18th. That's Peter McCann. Kevin Joyce in 19th. Eric Courier in 20th ahead of Jamal Gandor in 21st. David Prunty in 22nd ahead of TJ Baker, Rob Parks and Aaron Dalton. So a great way to end the season here. Peter, are you doing okay after going airborne?
I don't know, is that Jordan's fault or my fault? I'm not sure.
We couldn't really tell, but
Yeah, I'd lost the will to care at that stage anyway. So yeah, go interview your podium men, and maybe I'll chat alongside you.
yes, let's bring in the race winner for heat number 3, Rory O'Shea, who we have spoken to already so far this evening, but we will speak to him again. Rory, you said you liked the track. You showed that in the final heat. That was a dominant win.
Yeah, well, I like it even more if we keep having races like that. Yeah, it ended up being surprisingly comfortable, especially after Ronan and Jordan dropped off. So, yeah, very happy with that one.
How would you sum up the season as a whole then? Because there has been a lot of ups and downs for you. You got a lot of podium places, 2 wins. Would you consider that a success?
Oh, well, look, obviously I would have wanted to win the championship, which I don't believe I have. But, like, I think I'm happy enough to be bringing guys like John and Ronan to the final round. Like, these guys are so good, and the fact that I can keep up with them in some way, shape, or form is a little bit of a success in the very least.
Will you be looking to try win the championship next season then?
We'll have a go. GT3s wouldn't be my forte exactly, but I'll do my best now. Put in the laps to improve and try to get up there as high as possible.
Rory, congratulations on the win. Thanks for talking to us, and I'm sure at some point we will interview you again next season. Cheers.
Thanks very much, lads.
So good to hear from Rory there after the race win. We spoke to him earlier, so there wasn't too much to ask him. Let's speak to the second place man, Sean McGoldrick, though, who took it on the last lap. Hello, Sean. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
A couple of moves around the outside there, but the big one, I think, is that move on the last lap. Were you always confident that you were going to get that done?
I can't say I was confident, but I was definitely going to give it a try. And I think myself and Lawrence are sensible enough that we're not going to wipe ourselves out of podium positions just for one more spot.
In terms of Long Beach, then Rory O'Shea, who we were just speaking to a moment ago, said he absolutely loves this track. What's your thoughts on it? Because I don't think Rory's opinion is commonly shared across the grid.
It it's not it's not too bad to drive. It's a really good track to drive. I'm not convinced it's a brilliant one for racing. It's there was a lot of chaos. I think I started P10 in the last one, and I think I only passed 2 cars in real moves. The rest were just collisions and people wiping themselves out.
And then the season as a whole, then it's looking like you're on course for a top 5 in the championship. Is that where you'd like to be ending this Super Formula Lights season?
Yeah, I think I said that to you early in the season that P5 would be good, but
I think you
uh,
did.
yeah, I had a terrible round at Brands. I was running second and I just threw it off the road all by myself. I was chasing lap times rather than concentrating on what I was doing. So I probably could have got another spot, but I'm happy enough.
Well, Sean, thank you very much for joining us once again. Congratulations on the podium and giving us some entertainment there in the last heat. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again at some point next season.
Thanks.
And now the third place man who returns to the podium for the second time in 3 weeks. It is Lawrence de Soswell. Lawrence, congratulations on the podium. But you did lose second place on the last lap. How does that feel?
I was being hunted down for the whole race, so losing second place wasn't too bad. But then I had Connor behind me as well, and he was gaining on me. Just the pace that they're carrying is another level. It's unbelievable.
Just to tell you how close you were to getting second place, Rory O'Shea crossed the line to start the last lap with 1 second left on the clock. So if he was 1 second slower, you would have got second place. But a third is still really good as well. You finished third last season in the season finale as well. Is the season finale kind of a bit of a lucky race for you, maybe?
I'm not sure. I didn't have a great quali, and I wanted to keep it clean. I was really impressed by the driving standards tonight. It seems that sometimes when we have a very tricky combination like this, people just step it up another gear. When it's kind of middle of the road, people tend to take that little bit of extra risk, and we end up with incidents. And tonight, I just found it unbelievable. So I started, I think, P14 or so, and worked my way up at the end of race 2. I was in P8, so I got the reverse grid pole, and I had enough laps under my belt to kind of know where to put the car anyway. And I got lucky with a bit of traffic behind being slowed down and kept P3.
And then you historically have said to us that you prefer single seaters. We return to GT cars next season. What's your thoughts on that? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not a huge GT3 fan, especially. Tin tops would rank even lower than I like racing road cars, or high performance road cars, formula cars. I just think the GT3 thing. Maybe when I started sim racing in leagues, we were doing non-stop GT3, and it was just a little bit much. But with the new GT3 cars coming out, like the Mustang, which I haven't even bought yet, but I have signed up for the league, I'm pretty excited because you can't, like, the GT4s were amazing, the Aston Martins, really, really love them. And one of the main reasons that I'm here is to learn and keep up that racecraft, and what better grid to do that with.
Lawrence, thank you very much for joining us once again. Congratulations on the podium, and we wish you the best of success in the GT League.
And I'd like to, I don't know if the others have done it, but I'd like to, on behalf of all the drivers as well, thank you for your great commentary, your great TikTok as well. Go and check out your TikTok channel. And yeah, it's great crack. Thank you so much.
The other drivers didn't do that. You're now my favourite, Lawrence. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Good to hear from Lawrence there at the end. And we usually only do 3 interviews, but while we're waiting for the results to be confirmed, we do, of course, have Peter McCann, who's alongside us. Peter, I think you'll agree we've had a fantastic season.
Yeah, it really, really has been a fantastic season. We were looking at a few highlights and lowlights here in the admin chat in the last couple of days, and just looking at Jordan Kelly again with all this dominance in every season that we put forward, no matter what car we pick, no matter what tracks we go to, he's always there. Even when he has a bad night, he has a decent, mediocre night, and he just keeps gaining points.
Yeah, and I think him and Ronan Doherty are probably two of the best drivers on the grid, but they're both good at different things, and I suppose that's what keeps it interesting.
Yeah, and they're both real life drivers as well, and championship winners in their own right. Like, it just shows you there's massive similarities here. But we had Ronan earlier on in the year in Imola. I think he won one of the wet races by 17 seconds from second, so he just excels in the wet. You were talking to Rory and Sean, actually, the two, I'd say, our two top sim only racers in here, always up there. Like, I think the two of them are probably what, don't get me wrong, don't hang me, but I think it's third and fifth for this championship unless something changes tonight.
Yeah, I think so. And certainly those would be two drivers who are strictly on simulators, not where you said Jordan and Ronan are real life racing drivers. I know Rory has done a little bit of karting, but it's interesting to see how close sim racers and real racers can be, considering they've come from different backgrounds.
Yeah, and we learn the same tricks of the trade, I suppose, is how we can put it, in the sim. Like, you see the likes of Sean McClements and Dylan, the two brothers, like Sean